told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Grandma, are you calling the police?
What am I calling the police for?
Because I don't want to go with Mommy.
At 6 days old, Julissia Batties went into foster care. At 7 years old, she was dead. And the way she died is truly horrific. My name is Holly, and this is The Murder She Shed, the place we discuss the dead, right from my little she shed. If you enjoy my telling of true crime cases, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so it will help me get out into this big YouTube world. Also, I need to give a warning in this case. If you are extra sensitive to cases of child abuse, this video may not be for you. Although little Julissia died in August of 2021, her mother and older half-brother just got arrested for the alleged murder of Julissia last week. Julissia Batties was born at Kings County Hospital into the care of ACS, which is the agency charged with protecting the city's most vulnerable. As per a court-ordered report, there was evidence of parental drug and alcohol abuse, and that there was domestic violence between the girl's mom, NAVASIA Jones, and the father of 3 of her sons from a previous relationship. A city-appointed social worker said that NAVASIA's children had cuts, bruises, and welts on their little bodies. Records revealed that she blew smoke in the children's faces, even though she knew and was aware that one of her sons suffered from asthma. When Julissia was just 5 days old, her mother lost custody of her. NAVASIA lost custody of her 4 other children as well. Julissia was placed in the care of her paternal grandmother, Yolanda. But in 2017, 3 years later, when she was only 3, Julissia was removed from Yolanda's care after she reportedly let her son enter the home to visit his daughter. I am unsure why the father was not allowed in the home. I think it needed to be supervised. Although the grandmother stated that Julissia's mom made claims against him and he was arrested multiple times, that perhaps that's why he was only allowed supervised visits. When Yolanda sought a hearing by the State Office of Children and Family Services, it found the removal was basically incorrect. It shouldn't happen. Subsequently, a reevaluation was called for. In 2018, ACS returned Julissia to her grandmother. However, the reevaluation allowed supervised visits with her mom, NAVASIA, at an agency office. The woman who had been abusive to all of her other children was allowed back into little Julissia's life. Psychological reports in 2019, early 2020 found that Julissia was at ease with her father, but seemed sad and withdrawn and anxious when she was with her mother. Eventually, NAVASIA was given full custody of Julissia due to the COVID outbreak. They didn't want to switch her back and forth to the different households. A neighbor reported a black eye that she had seen on Julissia to ACS, but NAVASIA refused to let them see her, which is unbelievable to me. How could she be allowed to refuse, especially after a history of abuse toward her other children? When Julissia did get to visit her grandmother, which was very rare after that, Yolanda would record Julissia being upset and crying because she had to go back to her mother's house. This was given to authorities. She was hoping that she could get her back by doing these recordings. And I have one of them, and just a warning, it is horribly upsetting.
Grandma, you calling the police?
What am I calling the police for?
Because I don't want to go with mommy.
Why you don't want to go with mommy?
Oh my God.
You're telling me to call the police.
Because I don't want to go with mommy.
So you're saying call the police?
Yes.
What is wrong at mommy's house that you don't want to go to mommy's house? Tell me, it's okay. Come, grandma gotta do your hair. Why are you crying? You don't want to see mommy? Why? Huh? You what? You want to see mommy? Why you don't want to see mommy? Don't cry. You gotta go see mommy. You don't love mommy? Why are you crying like that? We just want to visit, okay? Don't cry. Why are you crying, Pumpkin? You have to see mommy. Okay? Don't cry. Why? What happened? I'm sorry. You don't want to go? Why?
One of the recordings that they have not released, Julissia says that her 3 elder brothers keep fighting and beating up a younger sibling. She said they make him bleed. When Yolanda asks her, what do they do? Julissia says something bad. Neighbors in NAVASIA would say Julissia came and went on her own, riding alone in the elevator, and taking solo trips crossing dangerous streets on her own. Mind you, she was only 7 years old. 7 years old, she was crossing the roads by herself. Several neighbors said they heard NAVASIA shouting almost constantly from behind her apartment door. She had even been heard calling Julissia a bitch. On July 31st, Yolanda received a series of strange texts that she was not sure they came from Julissia. They were, texts from Julissia's phone, but did not sound like Julissia at all. So she's still confused about where these texts came from. They said, Grandma, it's me, Julissia. And she said, I'm leaving today. My mom is letting me live with her brother. Yolanda asked, where? Texas, she replied. She said, I'm not coming back. After being with her mother for only 2 months, on August 10th, 2021, when Julissia was only 7 years old, neighbors said they awoke to the sound of Julissia's mother screaming, not in anger, but in fear. The neighbor who lives down the hall knocked on NAVASIA's door, and she stated NAVASIA was yelling, help, help, my daughter stopped breathing. The neighbor stated when she seen Julissia, she was laying down in a room halfway because her older brother was halfway holding her up. Julissia was naked and limp in her 17-year-old brother's arms. Remember that she was naked. NAVASIA told the neighbor it was because she had urinated on her clothes. But later, you will learn that it is not the only reason. NAVASIA continued. She woke up screaming my name. I went to her and asked if she was all right. And she said her stomach hurt. But no, she did not call 911 as soon as Julissia told her that. Nope, she laid her on the couch and left for 3 hours to go shopping and to go to the bank. Yes, she left her there with the older brother. So it was 5 a.m. when NAVASIA told her my stomach hurt. She did not come back till 8 a.m. when she started screaming, and the neighbors heard her, and 911 was called. So 911 was dispatched to the scene. And then upon inspection, responders noted significant trauma to Julissia, including bruising on her face, arms, and torso. Julissia was pronounced dead shortly after 9 a.m. Julissia's 17-year-old half-brother Paul Fine Jr. later told police that he had punched her in the face 8 times that morning because he thought she had taken some snacks. He admitted scratches found on her body was from his long nails. Police had been called to that house 6 times in 2 years for suspected abuse. So Julissia's mom said that her daughter had fallen and hit her head on a desk around 5 a.m. After the autopsy, it was learned that the cause of death was determined to be abdominal trauma from being struck with a blunt object. She had 600 millimeters of blood in her abdomen. Imagine the stomach pain this little 7-year-old girl was having. And then add on the fact her 17-year-old half-brother, Paul, SODOmized her as she lay dying. Yes, as she lay dying. I guess when the mother went to the bank and her stomach was already hurting, no telling what had already been done to her. He did that to her. This case truly tore me up thinking about how people can be so evil to a little child. Before the mother was arrested, she was trying to get the rights to control the funeral arrangement. And it is no surprise that she wanted Julissia cremated. She stated, "So I will always have something to remember her by." But was it so no further autopsies could be performed? Did she have some other ulterior motive for this? But Yolanda, the grandmother who raised her for 6 years of her life, and her son, who is Julissia's father, fought for a burial. And after the autopsy, they refused to release her body until it was decided. Finally, Yolanda and Julissia's father, Julius, won the right to have the burial. And they wanted her to have a little princess burial. She is buried in a pink casket, wearing the white dress she picked out for a wedding she attended. Both Julissia's mom and half-brother were charged with murder, manslaughter, and acting in a manner injurious to a child. The brother also faces assault and SA charges, while the mom has been additionally charged with failure to exercise control of a minor. As NAVASIA was leaving court, here is what her classy self said to reporters.
NAVASIA, why did you take your daughter? You love her? What happened?
They have been charged almost a year after Julissia died. Yolanda said Julissia never was a problem. She was a perfect child. She had neat handwriting, loved to sing. She loved going to Target and Walmart. She was an usher at church and loved the bishop. A GoFundMe account called Justice for Julissia was set up last year. And due to the low coverage of this case, one reason I did it is not even reached the goal of $5,000. I'm going to put the link below in case you'd like to donate. I don't cry in most cases I research, but this one brought me to tears. Seeing the love her grandmother and father had for her. And yet she was given to these evil monsters. I know they have to give the parents a chance, but she had already been given chances, and yet she was given back. Blows my mind. So here is a news clip of Julissia's grandmother and father. In support of little Julissia, put a J for J with a pink heart in the comments below. Let's show her family that we are supporting them in the fight for justice for Julissia. And my prayers go to Yolanda and Julissia's father, Julius. I pray that as we go ahead, that they find the justice they need to find, which true justice would be that Julissia would still be alive. But unfortunately, that can't happen. So I pray that they get some kind of justice from this horrible, horrible tragedy. This is Samo. He says bye. And he says, come join us at the she shed again. You gonna say it? Come join us at she shed again. I pick on him. He's used to it. Alright, bye. Love y'all. See y'all next episode. Hopefully it won't be so depressing next time.
At the age of 4 years old, the date was April 13, 2018. And what my granddaughter said was, Mom hit me with a hammer. And SEO Services has failed me. I was trying to keep this from happening.
Am I never going to get a chance to see my daughter again? And that's something I am living for the rest of my life. I don't know how to deal with it.
Wiping away tears, Julius Batties shares his grief.
I can't believe my daughter endured all that pain and suffering and nobody did. Not just my baby.
I know you told your friend you're not okay. And tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue